Hi there, I'm KingJGrim, or the guy who grew up with the Justice League the Animated Series, whatever you prefer, and I would like to start this off by apologizing for not making any content on my channel. You know, sometimes life likes to remind you of how insignificant you are by ripping your soul in half, but today I feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders, and I feel suddenly inspired. So inspired, in fact, that I wanted to talk about DC's newest film in the DCEU, Justice League. Don't expect any sort of film reviews or anything like that in their future. My channel will mostly be focused on gaming, but I love these characters so much that I just want to make a video of it. And it's a good way for me to talk about this just to get back into the groove of YouTubing, if that's a word. Now, I've never really made a movie review before, so sorry if this feels a bit off, and I want to make it clear that I love Man of Steel and Batman v Superman the Ultimate Edition. So if you're expecting some sort of unbiased review, no, you won't get it here. This is more of an opinion video than anything, because I can't lie when it comes to my love for Snyder's movies. So, let's just jump straight into it. So the story for Justice League. Taking place directly after Batman v Superman, the Dark Knight has been doing some detective work on Luthor's notes based on the threat that was made at the end of the previously mentioned movie.
He's hungry. He's found us. And he's coming!
And during this time, Steppenwolf arrives to our world, a world without hope, as the Man of Steel is gone, giving an open path to destroy Earth, as there is no hero to protect it.
No Kryptonian.
Hence, Batman and Wonder Woman look for other heroes, Aquaman, Flash and Cyborg, in hope to unite to fight off this incredibly powerful threat. So already, if you've seen all of the previous films in this universe, this is a much simpler plot than that of BVS. This isn't necessarily a good or a bad thing, it simply means that it's easier to follow and you don't have to keep track on every hundreds of side plots and side characters, etc. There are a couple of things I do want to mention, but those are more in the spoiler section of things. I will talk about that later. But let's now focus on what I enjoyed about this narrative. The biggest pro of this movie is, without a single doubt in my mind, the characters. Every single member of the Justice League are interesting and important, which makes their interactions so believable. They do have their depth, as everyone holds their own struggles. Bruce is going through the guilt he feels as he blames himself for the death of Clark. Diana explains why she was gone for such a long time after World War I. Barry Allen is lonely and extremely uncomfortable in dangerous situations, as he's pretty much new to the whole superhero shtick. Victor is going through the whole cyborg thing, and by the way, he is without a doubt the most interesting of the bunch. Who would have thought the hero I really held no interest in turned out to be the one I was most invested with? And finally, Arthur Curry, who is an outsider everywhere he goes. While admittedly all of these character story arcs makes the movie feel more segmented rather than being one linear story, they do their job well, and I will say that the biggest reason for this small problem is the shorter runtime of this flick. Hoping for an extended cut. But case in point, I love these characters. One scene in particular that stands out to me is when the League is discussing something ethically questionable, where Batman is going all screw ethics and Diana fights him on it. Fantastic scene. And what is also fantastic is how the world building is done, as we do follow the League members through their problems. Feels much better than how it was done in BVS with the video files. So the positives outweighs the negatives in that regard. And with all of these characters together, this film is more lighthearted than the previous ones. Which fits with this story, as now they are not on their own as they once were. There are moments where it gets a bit more dramatic, but overall no doom and gloom here. Though there are some negatives that I will have to bring up. Some jokes are clearly from the reshoots by Joss Whedon, and some of these... how best to describe it? In the trailer they show off a lot of stuff made by Snyder that holds character development and depth that's not in the movie. And the scenes that did make the cut in place are just jokes. One being a serious head scratcher that I can't say cause spoilers, but understand that I felt really annoyed sometimes when the movie wanted me to laugh, and that's not good. Another thing that the reshoots have done is that Justice League doesn't feel as connected to the previous films in the series as the first trailer made it out to be. The nightmare in BVS that Batman mentions in one of the trailers, gone. Flash running back in time to warn the Dark Knight, and that Lois is the key? Gone! The freaking dirt rising from the casket? Gone! I obviously can't say if these things would have been explained in Snyder's version, but as the earlier trailer did indeed go into it, all I can do is, again, hope for an extended cut, seriously. There are other things that an Ultimate Edition could help with as well, like how Aquaman does not have that many scenes. I do like him, but it feels the same on how Wonder Woman was handled in BVS, but there, it made sense as it was Batman's and Superman's movie. This is the Justice League. The trailer showed us stuff that was, again, not to be seen here, so crossing my fingers. And finally, on the negativity side, the villain Steppenwolf.
Primitive beings.
Primitive? You're using an axe! Most people who have reviewed this movie seem to agree on that this is a weak villain, and to that I say, yeah, pretty much. Now, I do not find him to be Malachi? Whatever. I don't find him to be that weak, but he does feel like a mini-boss rather than the big bad of the story. Which makes sense considering the fact that this movie was once a two-parter, but in the movie as it is now, he is pretty weak. I do enjoy his action scenes, but I do not hold any interest in learning more about Steven over here. Oh, and a really weird thing, they keep focusing on a Russian family, as if trying to put a face on the innocent people the League have to save. Yeah, it didn't work so well. Kind of only led to one stupid joke. The story is pretty light, but the characters make it interesting, and that's how it is with every single story out there. You can have a horrible plot, but if you have interesting individuals, suddenly you're invested. And that's good. Now, I will jump a bit into spoilers right now, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled, jump into this timestamp. I will try to remember to write it in. If not, then just watch the spoilers. Anyways, skip to this place if you don't want to have it spoiled, so... Okay, ready? Spoiler time. Superman! Oh my god, it's so sweet to see Superman again after just 2 movies. My favorite hero of all time. And guess what? He kicks so major ass here. There are seemingly tons of scenes missing from Snyder's version, and one of the biggest gripes that I mentioned a bit earlier is this scene in the trailer that Whedon turned into a stupid joke.
I'll take that as a yes.
What?
The ring.
But looking at what we got, this is Superman. Yes, his personality is really different from Man of Steel and BVS, again disconnecting this film from the previous ones. Yes, some stuff makes no sense, but again, with what we got, I like this Superman. So how did they resurrect him? Well, it is stupidly simple actually. Take one of the mother boxes that Steppenwolf is looking for to destroy the world and use it with the same machine thingy that Lex Luthor used to create Doomsday. This leads to a fight scene between the League and a confused, angry Superman, which is probably the best moment in the entire film with Superman and Flash, but while I do find this resurrection questionable, definitely the grave digging scene, yeah, they quite literally dig up Clark's corpse. The reason for getting the Man of Steel back is because of how powerful Steppenwolf is, and I actually found a perfect clip from Justice League the animated series that pretty much summarizes Superman's role in this story flawlessly. Have a look.
I just flattened Wonder Woman. You really think you can beat me?
I'm not trying to beat you. I'm trying to stall you.
Stall me? For what?
There are obviously more stuff that I could talk about here, but I feel like the most important aspects have been mentioned, you know. We know that plot isn't the only thing there is about a movie. I mean, if it was, then why not just read a book, right? So, let's talk visuals. Well, I can't really show much from the movie. This has Zack Snyder's visual style all over the place. Love him or hate him, he knows how to frame a picture, and it shows. So if you like Snyder's way of filming, you'll get it here. Now, there are certain things I really like. All of the characters have their themes, for a lack of a better word. We will see Batman in Gotham, we do see Wonder Woman in a Greek setting, Aquaman in the water, etc. All of these theme scenes look amazing, making me even more excited for their standalone movies. The Flash Speed Force is different from other speedster heroes in films, and making me happy about that. And the action scenes look amazing. None of the fights stand up to the warehouse battle in BVS, but they're good. As the script is lighter in tone, the visuals are so as well. No longer dark colors, you will see them shining through the screen, though There were one or two times when the saturation was way above the necessary. There is a moment when Lois and Martha talk to each other and the prior's blue shirt was just... It looked suddenly more like a TV show than a DC movie, and considering some of the dialogue there, definitely a reshoot. And speaking of that, it kinda goes back to a previously mentioned point, but so many scenes are missing. The most visually stunning Batman moments ever is now only in the trailers. Look at that! That's Batman! And the CGI? That is not a man! The CG is good for the most part, and I am the type of person who really don't care about CGI, but there is one thing in this movie that is computer generated that did annoy me to no end. I won't say what it is, because when I asked my friends that I watched the movie with if they noticed it, they did not. So I guess I was looking for it because I already knew going in that there would be some CG in a very peculiar place. Sorry for being vague, but I don't want to ruin that for those unaware, because again, if someone who was not aware did not notice it, I think it's best that you don't know it. But considering all of the videos online talking about it, I guess it's kind of impossible. But understand that it was off-putting for me. So overall, the visuals are great. I do prefer personally the darker tones because I do just like darker stories. It's a preference thing, so what are you gonna do about it? Music-wise, I think we all can agree that when it comes to DC heroes, even if you do care about the whole DC versus Marvel stuff, they have some really iconic and memorable scores, like Superman's theme. Batman's tune. And Wonder Woman's new fantastic guitar riff. And here? Oh boy. So when Joss Whedon was set to direct the rest of the movie after Snyder, one of the first decisions he made was to throw out Junkie XL and bring in Danny Elfman. And to be honest, this was the wrong move. I love Danny Elfman, okay? He made probably the second most iconic superhero theme of all time, but when you have a movie series with themes, leitmotifs, and a specific style, it will be extremely awkward to suddenly hear the 1989 Batman theme, no matter how much I love it. There is no Man of Steel theme here. There is no BVS theme here. I love Danny Elfman, but this was really the wrong move, I have to say. The only theme I remember from this movie is the intro song, Leonard Cohen's Everybody Knows, sung by Sigrid, and the Come Together by Beatles, covered by Gary Clark Jr. and Junkie XL. Music's not so good there. It's not horrible, but in this DCEU series, it just widens the gap that disconnects this film from the series, and you know, that's how I try to enjoy this film. As a Justice League movie, not as a continuation of the story. If you haven't enjoyed the previous DC films, I really doubt this will win you over, even with a lighter tone. If you do enjoy the previous movies, I have a feeling you will have some problems here, like I did, but personally, I did like it, but I want to love it, hence why I really hope for that extended director's cut, if that will ever happen. But until then, I will just enjoy it as if it is a regular episode of Justice League the Animated Series, as a fan. As a standalone to Justice League. It's not epic, it's not grand as it should be, but for what we got, I liked it. Anyways, while waiting for the extended cut, well, I'll just crossing my fingers. But until then, I'm KingJGrim, or the guy who spent too much time thinking about making a video rather than doing so, whatever you prefer. And I'll see you guys next time.